There is a fear that most people carry but rarely say out loud. It is not the fear of growing old. By a certain age, most of us have made a quiet peace with the grey hair, the slower mornings, the aches that arrive without being invited. And it is not quite the fear of illness, though that one lives close by. The fear underneath all of it is smaller than those and somehow larger. It is the fear of the morning you cannot button your own shirt. The fear of sitting in a chair, waiting for someone else to bring you a glass of water. The fear of a single ordinary day when the things you have done 10,000 times without a thought must be handed, gently, into another person's hands. That is the fear, not of ending, of depending. And here is the part almost no one tells you. For most people, independence is not lost in one dramatic moment. There is rarely a single fall, a single diagnosis, a single line that divides the life before from the life after. It goes more quietly than that. It slips away in the small things you stopped doing because they became a little harder, the walk you shortened, the stairs you began to avoid, the meal you no longer felt like cooking, one quiet surrender at a time. Until one day you look up and realize how much of your own life you are now watching from the side. So look at the people who are still living on their own terms at 79, at 83, at 88. It is tempting to believe they were simply luckier, stronger bodies, better genes, Kindervater. But that is not usually the truth, and believing it lets the rest of us off the hook too easily. Most of them are not people who were spared change. They are people who met it differently. Somewhere along the way, without announcing it to anyone, they kept a handful of small habits, habits that quietly protected their body, their mind, their voice, and their right to live the way they choose. This is where an old teaching becomes useful. You cannot command the body to stop aging. Impermanence is not a problem to be solved. It is the ground everything stands on. But there is an enormous difference between meeting the body's changes with awareness and meeting them with neglect, between facing what is coming with a little and turning away from it out of fear. Aging is not the enemy here. Turning away is. So let me be honest with you about what this talk is and what it is not. In this talk, I will walk you through 7 habits, 7 ways that people hold on to their independence far longer than fear would have them believe is possible. I want to be clear, these 7 habits are not a promise that you will never need help, and they are not a wall against every hard thing that comes with a long life. Anyone who tells you that is selling you something. What they can do is quieter and more real. They can help you stay the author of your own days for much longer. They can keep you from handing away pieces of your life before you actually have to. And they can change the way you meet what does come, so that even the help you accept feels less like defeat, and more like one more thing you chose. None of this asks you to fight your age. It asks you to stop mistaking preparation for surrender. So let's begin where every honest change begins, not with the body, but with the willingness to listen to it. Habit 1. Listen to your body before it has to shout. The body is always speaking. The trouble is that most of us only learn to listen once it has started to shout. Think about how it usually goes. There is a tiredness that arrives earlier than it used to. A heaviness in the afternoon that was not there a year ago. There is a moment on the stairs where your balance wavers, just slightly, and you catch the rail and keep going. There is a knee that aches on the cold mornings, a night where sleep will not come, a breath that runs a little short walking to the mailbox. There is a name you reach for and cannot quite find. Each one of these is a whisper, and the whisper is easy to explain away. You know the phrase. You have probably said it yourself, more than once. It's just old age. 4 small words that seem so gentle, so accepting, and that quietly close the door on the very thing you most need to notice. Because it's just old, age is not always acceptance. Sometimes it is a way of not looking, a soft phrase we use to excuse ourselves from paying attention. And here is what makes this the first habit, before all the others. Almost every serious loss of independence begins as something small that was ignored while it was still small. The balance that wavered becomes the fall. The fatigue that was waved away becomes the thing that finally gets checked. Too late to be simple. The body whispers, and whispers, and only raises its voice when the quiet has not been heard. There is a reason the contemplative traditions have always pointed the attention back toward the body, to the weight of each step, the rise and fall of a single breath. Not because the body is sacred and must be worshipped, but because the body is the one honest place where the present moment can actually be felt. The mind wanders into yesterday and tomorrow. The body is only ever here. And to sit with your own breath, even for the length of one slow inhale, is to practice the exact skill this habit asks of you, staying present with what is, instead of drifting past it. Now, I am not asking you to become afraid of your own body. That is its own kind of trap, and it deserves to be named clearly. This is not hypervigilance. It is not lying awake cataloguing every twinge, every flutter, every ache, turning an ordinary body into a source of constant dread. That kind of fear does not protect you, it only exhausts you, and it makes the body an enemy you can never win against. What I am describing is something quieter and steadier. Mindful awareness. The difference is this fear grabs at the body and demands it explain itself. Awareness simply notices, without panic, what is actually here, today. Not the story of what it might mean, not the worst thing it could become. Just this is what is true right now. The knee is stiff this morning. The appetite has been thin this week. The sleep has been broken. Noticing, and then responding. While responding is still easy, because that is the practical heart of it. A change caught early is almost always a smaller thing than a change caught late. The vision checked before it becomes the reason you stopped driving. The medication reviewed before it quietly became the reason you kept falling. The appointment kept. The hearing tended to. The small nagging thing brought into the light while it is still small. None of this is dramatic. All of it is the difference between adjusting and recovering. This is where the old teaching turns out to be more practical than it first sounds. People imagine mindfulness as something soft, something for calm rooms and quiet cushions. But at its root, the word points to something plain, a clear seeing of what is actually happening, without flinching, without the stories we drape over it. The teachers who spoke of it were not describing an escape from the body. They were describing a return to it. Watchfulness. They called it the simple discipline of knowing what is present in you as it arises, before it hardens into something you can no longer ignore. And acceptance, real acceptance, was never the same as looking away. This is the piece most people get backwards. They hear that all things pass, that the body, like everything else, is impermanent, and they take it as permission to stop caring, as if wisdom meant a kind of graceful giving up. But impermanence asks the opposite. If the body is always changing, then turning your face from it is not peace. It is only neglect wearing the mask of peace. To know that a thing will not last is the very reason to attend to it now, carefully, while attending still makes a difference. You do not care for the body because it will endure. You care for it precisely because it will not. So the practice is small, and you can begin it today. Not fear, not obsession, just a willingness to hear the quiet voice before it has to become a loud one. The body usually whispers before it shouts. Wisdom is listening while the whisper is still quiet. Habit 2. Keep a reason to get up every morning. There is a particular kind of morning that no one warns you about. You wake, and the day is already there, in front of you, open, empty, waiting. And for the first time, you notice that nothing in it actually needs you. No one is expecting you anywhere. Nothing will go undone if you simply stay where you are. The hours are yours completely. And somehow that is not the gift it once sounded like. It is a strange, quiet wait, a day, with no particular reason to begin. Most people, when they picture losing their independence, picture the body failing first. But very often, it is not the body that goes first. It is the reason. Watch what happens when a person loses their reason to get up. It rarely announces itself. They move a little less, because there is nowhere they need to be. The old routines loosen and then dissolve meals eaten at odd hours, or barely eaten at all. The small daily errands that once carried them out into the world quietly stop. The phone rings less because they call less. And the body, which was never really the problem, begins to weaken anyway, not from illness, but from stillness, from the slow subtraction of every reason it once had to move. This is why purpose is not a luxury laid on top of a life. For a long life, it is closer to load-bearing. But I want to be careful here, because the word purpose has been made too grand. We have turned it into something enormous, a calling, a legacy, a mark left on the world. And so people wait for it, or grieve that it never came, or decide that at their age the time for it has passed. That is a misunderstanding, and it costs people dearly. Because the reason to get up in the morning does not need to be large. It never did. It can be a garden that will not water itself. A grandchild's voice on the other end of a phone call you make, not one you wait to receive. A walk you take at the same hour each day, along the same street, past the same trees. A dog that needs you. A meal worth cooking properly. A book left open on the table, waiting for you to return to it. A small thing you are quietly making or mending or tending, something that would notice, in its own small way, if you did not show up for it. None of these will change the world. That was never the point. The point is that each of them, small as it is, asks something of you. It asks you to rise, to move, to use your hands and your attention. Purpose does not merely give the day meaning. It gives the body a reason to be a body, and the mind a reason to stay awake in its own life. Here the old teaching corrects something modern life gets badly wrong. We are taught, relentlessly, to measure a day by what it produced, how much was accomplished, how much was useful, how much can be shown for the hours. And by that measure, a long, quiet life can start to feel like it is worth less and less. But that measure was always a poor one. In the contemplative view, the worth of a day was never in its productivity. It was in its presence. Consider what that actually means. To fully water one plant, to feel the weight of the can, to watch the soil darken, to be entirely there for those few minutes, and nowhere else is not a small life poorly spent. It is a whole life, briefly, completely lived. Meaning was never hiding in the size of the task. It was hiding in how present you were willing to be inside it. A person can accomplish a great deal and be absent from all of it. A person can water a single plant and be utterly festery, wholly alive. So the practice is not to find some great reason worthy of your remaining years. That search has left more than one person waiting on a doorstep for a bus that was never coming. The practice is smaller and far more within reach to keep one true reason to meet the morning. One thing today that is glad you showed up. You do not need a grand reason to live. You need something that makes today worth showing up for. Habit 3. Protect the strength that makes independence possible. When people imagine losing their independence, they picture something dramatic. A hospital, a diagnosis, a single terrible day. But for most people, independence does not leave through a large door. It leaves through a very small one. It leaves through the chair you can no longer rise from without pushing. Through the step you now approach sideways, one hand searching for a rail. Through the tub you have started to fear. The shopping bag that has grown too heavy. The moment of standing when the room tilts and you wait, quietly, for it to settle. Notice how ordinary all of that is. This is the thing almost no one says plainly: independence, for all its weight, is built out of the smallest movements. Standing up, walking across a room, climbing a few stairs, stepping over the lip of a shower, bending to reach the low shelf, carrying something light from one room to the next, keeping your balance when the ground is uneven. These are not achievements. They are the quiet machinery of a life you run yourself, and the day they begin to fail is the day the whole shape of your life starts to narrow. And here is the trap, the one that catches so many good, sensible people. It works like a slow spiral, and it is worth seeing clearly, because once you see it, you can refuse it. It begins when one ordinary movement becomes a little harder. Rising from the low couch. So reasonably, sensibly, you begin to avoid it. You choose the higher chair. You take the elevator. You ask someone else to carry the bag. Each small avoidance feels like wisdom. But the body does not keep what the body does not use. So the muscle that made the movement hard grows weaker still. And the weaker it grows, the harder the movement becomes. And the more you avoid it until a strength you once had is simply gone, given away one reasonable choice at a time. The way out of that spiral is almost embarrassingly simple. And it does not require what you might fear. It requires. This is not about becoming an athlete in your 8th or 9th decade. It is not a punishing regimen, not straining against heavy weights, not proving anything to anyone. What actually protects independence is far humbler than that keeping the ordinary movements ordinary, standing and rising through the day, walking, a little, most days, staying steady on your feet, using the strength you have often enough that your body has no reason to conclude you are finished with it. Consistency, not intensity. A body used gently every day holds on to far more than a body pushed hard once and then left to rest for a week. And rest itself is not the enemy here. Rest is necessary. Rest is wise. The danger is only when taking it easy quietly stops being a choice you make on a tired afternoon and becomes the permanent shape of your days. There is a great distance between resting and retiring from your own body. The old teaching has a way of holding this that is gentler than either extreme. There is a middle path here, and it is easy to miss because both edges look like wisdom from a distance. On one edge is the refusal to age, the grasping after a younger body, the war against every grey hair and slower step, the exhausting insistence that nothing be allowed to change. The contemplative traditions saw the suffering in that clearly. To clutch at what is passing is to guarantee your own heartbreak. The body will change. That is not a failure of will, it is simply the nature of a body. But there is another edge, less talked about, and just as costly. It is the false peace of letting go too soon of releasing the body's care in the name of acceptance, when what is really happening is quiet abandonment. To care for your strength while knowing it will one day fade anyway is not a contradiction. It is, in fact, the whole art of it, to tend something faithfully and hold it loosely at the same time. To move your body each day, not to defeat old age, not to cling to youth, but simply because it is yours to care for while it is here. That is the practice hidden inside this habit, not the fight to stay young, not the surrender that calls itself serenity. Something quieter in between, a daily, unremarkable tending of the strength that carries you, offered freely, without the desperation of grasping and without the sorrow of giving up. Do not wait until movement becomes difficult to realize that movement was freedom. Habit 4. Do not hand away your decisions too soon. There is a kind of losing yourself that leaves the body completely untouched. You can be strong. You can still walk, still cook, still climb the stairs without a second thought. And you can, at the very same time, be slowly disappearing from your own life, not because your legs failed, but because, one decision at a time, you stopped being the one who decides. Because independence was never only about what the body can do. Underneath the physical is something quieter and just as vital agency. The simple, the daily fact of being the author of your own choices. What time you rise, what you spend your money on, which doctor you see, and what you agree to when you get there, where you live, and how. These are not small administrative details. They are the substance of a life lived on your own terms, and they can be surrendered long before the body ever gives out. Watch how it usually happens, because it almost never looks like a loss while it is happening. It looks like love. It looks like help. A well-meaning son offers to handle the bills. And it is genuinely a relief. So you let him. A daughter starts coming to the doctor's appointments and speaks for you, gently, because she is quicker with the questions and it is easier. So you let her. Someone takes over the paperwork, the finances, the phone calls, the decisions about your own care. Each handover is reasonable. Each one is offered with love and accepted with gratitude. And none of them, on its own, feels like anything was lost. But add them together across a year, across 2, and something has quietly changed. The bills are a mystery to you now. You are not quite sure what you agreed to at the last appointment. Decisions about your own life are being made in the next room, in conversations you are no longer fully part of. And slowly, without a single dramatic moment, you have become a guest in your own life, cared for, provided for, and somehow no longer consulted. This is the cost that no one names. When another person takes over all your choices, it does not only remove a burden, it removes something you need. Confidence thins when it is never used. The mind, like the body, weakens in the places it is no longer asked to work. And a person who is decided for, again and again, begins to feel it in their bones, the strange, a hollow sense of being a visitor at the center of their own existence. So everything in this habit rests on a single distinction, and it is worth holding up to the light. There is a world of difference between getting help and giving away authority. Between someone assisting you with a decision and someone making the decision instead of you. The first keeps you at the center of your own life. The second, however kindly it is meant, quietly moves you to the edge of it. Now, the old teaching is often misheard on exactly this point, and the misunderstanding does real harm. People hear that wisdom means letting go, releasing control, loosening the grip, not clinging to how things must be. And so, reaching for something that sounds spiritual, they let go of everything. They hand it all over and call their surrender peace. But that was never what letting go meant. To release your grasping after total control, the need to command every outcome, to have everything unfold exactly as you wish, that is genuine wisdom, and it does lighten a life. Yet letting go was never the same as going limp. The contemplative path did not ask anyone to become passive, to stop caring, to drift through their days while others steered. Non-attachment is not the same as non-participation. One is freedom. The other is only absence dressed as serenity. The real practice is harder than either grasping or surrendering, and finer than both. It is discernment, the patient work of knowing what is genuinely yours to release, and what is still yours to carry. There are things you can loosen your grip on without loss, the need to control what your children think, the insistence that everything be done your way, the exhausting fantasy that you can hold every thread of a life in your 2 hands. Let those go, and you are lighter for it. But your voice in your own care, your presence in your own decisions, your standing as the author of your own days, these are not burdens to be shed. They are responsibilities to be kept, gently and for as long as you can. So, accept the help. Take the offered hand. Let your son carry what is heavy. But stay in the room. Ask the questions yourself, even when it is slower. Know where your own affairs stand. Keep your name on your own life. Accept help when you need it, but do not surrender your voice before you have to. Habit 5. Let your home change before a crisis changes your life. The house has not changed. That is the quiet problem. It is the same house it always was. The same rug by the door that has been there for 20 years. The same stairs you have climbed 10,000 times. The same high shelf. The same low cabinet. The same tub you have stepped into without a thought for as long as you can remember. Nothing about the house has moved. But you have changed inside it, and a home that fit the body you had at 50 can quietly become a hazard to the body you have at 79. That is the thing about the place you have lived a long time. You stop seeing it. The eye slides over the loose corner of the rug, the dim hallway, the stack of things at the top of the stairs. The way the good bowls live on a shelf, you now have to reach and stretch and balance on your toes to touch. Familiarity has made it invisible, and what is invisible cannot be questioned. So let me make it visible for a moment. The rug that shifts underfoot. The stairs with nothing to hold. The lighting too dim to catch the edge of a step. The clutter that has crept into the walking paths. The bathroom floor that turns slick and treacherous. The chair so low that rising from it is already a small negotiation. The missing handrail exactly where a hand would reach for one. None of these announces itself as dangerous. Each one simply waits. And here is why this habit matters more than it seems. Because a home is where one small thing can begin a very long chain. It often starts with a single fall. Not a dramatic one, a catch of the foot, a slip on a wet tile, an ordinary loss of balance in an ordinary room. But the fall brings an injury. The injury brings weeks of not moving. The not moving brings weakness that was not there before. The weakness brings a new fear of falling. And the fear brings a caution that shrinks the world a little more each day, until a life that was whole and self-run has narrowed down to a few careful rooms. One tile, one rug, one unlit step. That is sometimes all it takes for the whole shape of a life to change. Now, I know how this can feel. To change the house, to add the rail, to lower the shelf, to take up the rug can feel like a kind of admission. Like conceding something. Like hanging a sign on the wall that says, "I am getting old now. And this is what old people need." And so people resist it. They leave the house exactly as it was, as though keeping the rooms unchanged could keep the body unchanged too. But that resistance has the truth exactly backwards. Changing the home before a crisis is not surrender. It is the opposite of surrender. It is foresight. It is a person looking clearly at what is coming and quietly preparing to meet it on their own terms, rather than waiting for a fall to make the decision for them. The rail you install today is not a monument to weakness. It is the reason you will still be climbing those stairs, on your own. 5 years from now, the old teaching has a way of naming the deeper mistake underneath all this resistance. So much of our suffering, the contemplative traditions observed, comes from a single stubborn demand that the present should go on matching the past, that things should stay as they were. We fix in our minds an image of how life is supposed to look this house, arranged this way, navigated by this body, and then we suffer, quietly and continually. Every time reality declines to hold still for us. But the house was never the point. The life inside it was. And when the body changes, clinging to a home that no longer fits, it is not loyalty, it is a slow, self-inflicted kind of harm. To let the environment change as the body changes is not defeat. It is a small act of wisdom, the willingness to meet what is, instead of grieving what was. There is a deep and quiet freedom in adapting, in letting the rooms rearrange themselves around the life you actually have now, so that life can keep going, unbroken, a while longer. So walk through your home once, as a stranger might. See it clearly, the way familiarity has stopped letting you see it, and change it gently, ahead of time, before a single ordinary evening has the chance to change everything else. Change the home before one fall forces life to change for you. Habit 6. Keep doing what you can still do yourself. It almost always begins with kindness. That is what makes it so hard to see. Someone who loves you, watches you, struggle for a moment with a task reaching, lifting, working something out slowly, and they cannot bear it. So they step in. Here, let me. And it is faster when they do it, and gentler on them to watch, and easier all around. So it becomes the pattern. They do it. You let them. And a small thing you were still perfectly able to do yourself quietly passes out of your hands, not because you couldn't, but because someone else could do it quicker. Multiply that by 100 small tasks over 100 ordinary days, and you can see where it leads. Because here is a truth. The body does not let us forget. Capability does not survive on its own. It survives on use. Every time you do a thing yourself, dress in the morning, prepare a simple meal, walk out to collect the mail, water the plants, tidy a corner of a room, carry something light, work out some small ordinary problem, you are doing far more than completing a task. You are keeping the body in motion. You are keeping the mind engaged. And you are quietly telling yourself, one more time, I can still do this. That last part matters more than people realize. Confidence is not a feeling you summon. It is a thing you build, task by task, out of evidence. And the reverse is just as true, and just as quiet. What is not used does not stay. The muscle you stop asking for grows weak. The skill you hand over grows unfamiliar. The confidence you never test thins into doubt. Not through any dramatic loss, simply through disuse. The slow forgetting of a body and mind, no longer asked to do what they can still do. So the practice here sounds almost defiant. If you can still safely do a thing, keep doing it. Even when it is slower. Even when someone else could do it faster. Even when it would be easier. In the moment. To let them. The extra few minutes it takes you to do it yourself are not wasted time. They are the very exercise that keeps the doing possible. But, and this is where I have to be honest with you, because half of wisdom lives in this second half, there is a line here, and it matters as much as everything I have just said. Because independence, pushed past its sense, curdles into something else. It becomes stubbornness. And stubbornness, at a certain age, is not brave, it is dangerous. This same instinct that keeps you strong, if it hardens into pride, will have you carrying what is too heavy, climbing to reach what you should not be reaching for, driving when it is no longer safe for you or anyone else on the road. Refusing the help you genuinely need for no better reason than that you do not want to be the kind of person who needs it. That is not independence anymore. That is ego, wearing independence as a disguise, and it has cost people the very freedom they were trying so hard to protect. The old teaching held exactly this kind of tension, and held it beautifully. There is a middle way here, and both ditches on either side of it look, from a distance, like they might be the road. On one side is surrender too soon, giving away what you can still do, out of comfort or fear, letting capability slip before it had to go. On the other side is the refusal to yield anything at all, the proud insistence on doing what is no longer safe, as though accepting help were a kind of defeat. The contemplative path walked between them, and it asked something more subtle than either. It asked for clear seeing, to know, honestly and without flinching, what you can still do, and to keep doing it, and to know, just as honestly, what you truly cannot, and to accept help there without shame. Notice that both of those are wisdom. This is the part people miss. To use the strength you still have is wisdom. It honors the life still in you. And to know your true limits, to accept the hand you actually need, is also wisdom. It honors the truth of where you are. They are not opposites. They are two halves of the same clear-eyed honesty about your own life. The error is never in choosing one over the other. The error is in letting either one, the pride or the surrender, make the choice for you, before you have looked clearly at what is actually true today. So do what you can. Keep your hands in your own life. And where you genuinely cannot, let the help in not as a defeat, but as the same honest clarity, pointed in the other direction. Do what you can. Accept help with what you cannot. And do not confuse either choice with weakness. Habit 7. Build connection before you need help. There is a belief that sounds like strength, but works like a slow poison. It goes like this. If I ever need someone, it means I have already lost my independence. And so, to stay free, a person begins to pull away, declining the invitation, not making the call, quietly building a life that asks nothing of anyone. It feels like self-reliance. It is often the beginning of the very fall they were trying to avoid. Because independence and isolation are not the same thing. They have been confused so often, and so thoroughly, that many people spend their last decades proving their strength by slowly removing everyone who might have helped them keep it. Look closely at the people who stay autonomous the longest, and you find something that surprises the person expecting to find a lone survivor. They are almost never alone. They are the ones with a neighbor who notices when the curtains stay drawn, a friend who calls on Sundays, a daughter, a phone call away, a community, a congregation, a group, a familiar circle that would know, and quickly. If something were wrong, their independence is not the independence of a hermit. It is held up, quietly, by a web of ordinary relationships they built long before they ever needed to lean on it. And that is the part that must be understood, because it changes everything about when you act. Connection cannot be summoned in the moment of crisis. The time to have people is before you need them. The neighbor you can call when the car will not start, when the illness comes, when something in the house needs another pair of hands, when you simply need one person who would notice that you have been changing. That neighbor has to already be your neighbor. That relationship has to already exist. You cannot plant the tree on the day you need the shade. So the practice is to build it early, and to keep building it. In the long, quiet seasons when you do not need anything at all, to stay in touch when there is no emergency, to keep the Sunday call, the shared meal, the familiar faces, the small ongoing threads that connect one life to others, not as an insurance policy, but as a life. Because the people who will be there in the hard hour are almost always the people who were already there in the ordinary ones. Now, everything in this habit rests on a distinction. The language itself tends to blur the difference between dependence and interdependence, and they are not the same at all. Dependence is when you can no longer run your own life, and someone else must run it for you. Interdependence is something else entirely. You are still running your own life, fully, but you do it held within relationships that support you, as every human being who ever lived has done. One is the loss of your autonomy. The other is the ordinary, dignified condition of belonging to other people. Here the old teaching is unusually direct and worth hearing clearly, because it cuts straight against the myth of the solitary strong one. The contemplative path never held up isolation as a mark of strength. It never taught that the highest life is the one lived apart, needing no one. Quite the opposite. Good companionship, good friendship, the fellowship of others walking the same road. This was spoken of not as a comfort for the weak, but as one of the essential supports of a whole life. The community of practice, the Sangha, existed precisely because a life is not meant to be carried entirely alone. To be woven into the lives of others was never seen as a failure of independence. It was seen as part of what makes a human life complete. And so accepting a hand at the right moment is not the surrender it can feel like. Sometimes it is the very thing that protects your independence rather than ending it. The ride to the appointment you would otherwise have missed. The friend who noticed the change you could not see in yourself. The help accepted early, before a small problem had the chance to become the crisis that takes everything. To let the right person in, at the right time, is not the opposite of standing on your own. Very often, it is what allows you to keep standing at all. So the aim of a long life was never to arrive at the end, needing no one. That was always a lonely and impossible goal, and it breaks the people who chase it. The aim is something warmer and far more human, to remain fully yourself, your voice, your choices, your life in your own hands while knowing, without shame, exactly whose hand you can reach for when you need one. The goal is not to need no one. The goal is to remain yourself while knowing who you can safely rely on. At the start, I named a fear, the fear of the morning you cannot manage on your own, the quiet dread of being handed, piece by piece, into someone else's care. Let's return to it now, because it deserves a truer answer than the one fear gives. Here is what fear whispers that independence means: I will never need anyone. That to accept a hand is to have already lost. But that was never what it meant. That definition is a cage, and the people who live by it often lose their freedom faster, not slower, worn down by the impossible work of needing nothing. There is a deeper meaning, and it is quieter, and it holds. Independence is not the refusal of all help. It is this: as my life changes, I will keep taking part in it for as long as I possibly can, staying awake to the body, keeping a reason to rise, remaining the voice in your own decisions, letting the right hands in at the right time, not needing no one, remaining yourself. You cannot command the body never to change. No habit, no wisdom, no preparation will buy you that. And anyone who promises it is not telling you the truth. What you can do is meet each change as it comes with a little awareness, a little foresight, a little honest connection, and in doing so, remain deeply, recognizably yourself for far longer than fear would ever let you believe. The body will age. That was never the question. The question was only whether you would still be there, fully, living inside your own life while it does. And you can be.